So I think product manager is a very important role, right? Because you're interfacing with the business team, and you're driving the limited resources which you have with engineering or tech to drive products which align with the long-term business strategy of the company. So typically, what we look out for in a product manager is first a clear understanding of the business impact of problems. One of the most important skills would be problem solving. You should be really good at understanding the business problem and then be able to solve that. There are a couple of other things, right? So in terms of communication, which is important because you interact with stakeholders who are completely different. So there's the engineering team and then there's the business teams which you have to align with. So a clear communication and a clear understanding on making both the stakeholders understand the importance of the problem and the impact of the problem is super important. So as a product manager, you should be able to understand the cohort of your customers or your users you're catering to, and then back your hypothesis or propositions with data, and then come up with creative solutions to that problem. So that's like a few key skills which we look out for. I think as a product manager, it is very important for you to have a very clear understanding of the business and of the mission which or the business mission which your team is trying to achieve. But at the same point of time, your execution team is the set of engineers which will work on that, right? So I think it's critical to maintain a balance. So you should be able to advocate the market really well, and I think that's where the business skills or the problem solving skills come into picture. But at the same point of time, from an execution perspective, a product manager should have a clear communication with the engineers and also motivate them and align them to the mission they're trying to solve, and motivate them to achieve the best. So my advice would be, because considering that you deal with two different stakeholders in the company, it's important to work on the clarity and vision in terms of prioritization and in terms of aligning yourselves with the business knowledge. So it's important to have a strong understanding of the problem or understanding of the business. At the same point of time, how are you going to achieve it? How are you going to prioritize it with the limited resources which you have on the eng front? So it's very important that you're aligned. You're the person who has to be most aligned with the mission of your team. So at Uber, our mission is to make our cities better, right? So there's one guiding principle, and then you solve problems on the way. So it's important for you, as a product manager, to understand, prioritize, communicate, and then implement. Product teams at Uber are very mission driven. So we have product teams who own a particular mission, and that's where product roles at Uber are more entrepreneurial in nature, where you own a problem and then you try to solve it in the best way. Uber is also a very data driven company. So in terms of anything which we try to do, we try to validate it with data. We try to measure the impact and then do it in the best way. So I would say it's more of ownership of the problem and then ultimately driving it to a solution with a more data driven approach. So I think it's a great initiative because it's focused on product management. I don't see a lot of focused courses out there, and considering that it's an important role, it requires you to get groomed in terms of all the skills which I talked about, like communication, prioritization. Also, I think having a structured role is definitely going to groom aspiring product managers to achieve the best with their team.